Welcome students. Now in the second video we will start the topic Lok Sabha. Students, you know that the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assembly are directly elected by the people. Fine. So for the purpose of election, the entire country, we can say that state, in case of state legislative assembly, are divided into territorial constituencies of roughly equal population. Fine. So one representative is elected from each constituency through universal adult suffrage. If we talk about universal adult suffrage, you know that means the people who are having the age of 18, above 18 only, they can go for vote. Fine. So where the value of vote of every individual would be equal to another. Fine. So at present there are 543 constituencies. If we talk about constituency, that your 1 mark question is also get ready, that how many constituencies are there at present. So we are having 543 constituencies. Fine. So this number has not changed since 1971 census. Fine. So this number is same, we can say that a same number is there from 1971. Since 1971 about constituency, we are having the same number, that is 543. So now the question arises, what is the term period of Lok Sabha? Students, the Lok Sabha is elected for a period of 5 years. This is the maximum. We have seen in the chapter on the executive also that before the completion of 5 years, the Lok Sabha can be dissolved. It can be dissolved if no party or coalition can form the government, or if the Prime Minister advises the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha and hold fresh elections. Students, now the next topic is there, that what does the Parliament do? What are the functions of the two houses? What is the function of the legislature? And do both houses of the Parliament have similar function, or is there a difference in the powers of the houses? Fine. So answer all these questions. We will move further, that apart from lawmaking, the Parliament is engaged in many other functions. So firstly we will talk about legislative function. Fine. The Parliament enacts legislation for the country. Despite being the chief law-making body, the Parliament often merely approves legislation. The actual task of drafting the bill is performed by the bureaucracy under the supervision of the minister concerned. Fine. So the substance and even the timing the bill are decided by the cabinet. No major bill is introduced in the Parliament without the approval of the cabinet. We know this. And members other than ministers can also introduce bills, but these have no chance of being passed without the support of the government. And the next function under the legislative function, it's a most vital function of the Parliament to ensure that the executive does not overstep its authority and remains responsible to the people who have elected them. Okay, it's a function of the Parliament. Parliament checks the working of, we can say that, executive, and we shall discuss this function in greater detail later in this chapter. Next we are having financial powers. Fine. So government is about spending a lot of money on various matters. We know that our government spend lots of money on various matters, and where does this money come from? Fine. And we can say that a government raises resources through taxation. However, in a democracy, legislature controls taxation and the way in which money is used by the government. Okay, so student, next we are having debating function. Debating function of the Parliament is like, we can say that it's a highest form of debate in the country. We know that there are two houses in the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Each and every issue is debated lots of time over there, and there is no limitation on its power of discussion. Members are free to speak on any matter without fear. This makes it possible for the Parliament to analyze any or every issue that faces the nation. Clear? So these discussions constitute the heart of the democratic decision making. Next we are having constituent function. Under this we can say the constituent powers of both the houses are similar. All constitutional amendments have to be approved by special majority of both the houses. Fine. Next we are having electoral functions. So under this we can say that the power of Parliament is to elect the President and Vice President of India. Clear? The next and the last function is judicial functions. Under this we can say that judicial functions of the Parliament include considering the proposal for removal of removal of president, vice president and judges of high courts and supreme court. Fine, so I am repeating the judicial functions again to you, that judicial functions of the parliament include considering the proposal of removal of president, vice president and judge of high courts and supreme court. Now students, we will start our new topic, that is the what are the powers and the functions of the Lok Sabha speaker. Fine, so firstly we will know how the Lok Sabha speaker elected. If we talk about its election, we know that the Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament and the speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected by the member of Lok Sabha only. Clear? So now there is a question that what is the term of his office? Normally, if we talk about the speaker's term is, he is elected for a period of 5 years. However, he is in office until a new speaker is elected by the new house. Clear? So now we will move to the topic that what are the powers and the functions of the speaker. So student, its first power is it presides over the meetings of the Lok Sabha. Okay, the whole meetings of the Lok Sabha is presides by the Lok Sabha speaker only. And the second function is he grants the permission to the bills. And the third, he do the appointments also. What type of appointment he do? I just tell you. The speaker appoints the chairman and other members of the select committee. He also has the power to appoint the chairperson and members of other committee of the houses. Fourth is the power about the speeches of the members. The speaker grants permission to the members to speak in the Lok Sabha. This you have witnessed lots of time. No one can deliver a speech without his permission. Next is to maintain discipline among the members in the Lok Sabha. It is the most important duty of the speaker to maintain the discipline and order in the house. Fine. And if a member we can say that disregards his authority in spite of warning, he can name him for suspension. Fine. So next we are having to suspend the meeting of the house. Since the speaker is responsible to maintain a discipline and order in the house, therefore if he feels that the situation is out of control, then he can adjourn or we can say that suspend the meeting of the house. Fine, so he can adjourn or suspend the meeting of the house if he feels so. For the period he thinks it is necessary, he can do this. The next is decision about the bills. It is for the speaker to certify whether a particular bill is a money bill or not. Fine, and his certificate is final on the point. The next is to sign bills passed in the house. So whatever the bills passed by the house we can say that a Lok Sabha, so he signs on that particular bill. Clear? The next is voting on the bills. The speaker decides about the admissibility of a bill. After the admission of a bill in the house, he conducts the voting on the bill. After the voting, he has the power to declare the result. And the next is to cast the casting vote. The speaker has no right to cast his vote in the first instance, but he has the right to vote in case of tie. This is known as the casting vote of the speaker. And the next is to safeguard the privileges of the member. The speaker is the guardian of the privileges of the member of Lok Sabha. He can insist that action must be taken against anyone guilty of violating the privileges of the members of the house. And the last function is to preside over the joint session of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Fine. So student, in case of a joint meeting of both the houses of the parliament, means we can say that a Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, on a disputed bill, the speaker of the Lok Sabha presides it. Clear? So he has the power to preside the joint sessions meetings also for both the houses. And now we will move to the next topic, that how does Indian Parliament control the executive. So students, we are having 4 points in this regard. First is the Prime Minister and the other ministers are taken from the Parliament, and after becoming ministers they remain the members of the Parliament. They participate in the meetings of the Parliament. We know this. And the second is the ministers are responsible to the Parliament for their actions and policies. Third, the members of the Parliament can ask the ministers questions regarding the functioning of the administration, and the ministers are to give a satisfactory reply to all these questions. Fine. So ministers are, they are bound, they are, responsible, they are answerable to give reply to all these questions. Fine. The next we are having the members of the Parliament, by introducing adjournment motion, can invite the attention of the government to a serious problem or event. So now we will move to our next topic, that is what are parliamentary committees. So So students, if we talk about these committees, a significant feature of the legislative process is the appointment of committees. For various legislative purposes, they appointed, and these committees play a vital role not merely in lawmaking but also in the day-to-day business of the house also. We are having some types of committees here, like financial committees, standing committees. Third, we are having a dog, or we can say that select committees, administrative committees also. So we are having different functions about different committees also. And students, these committee system has reduced the burden on the parliament, and many important bills have been referred to the committees. Fine, the parliament has merely approved the work done in the committees with a few occasional alterations. Of course, legally speaking, no bill can become law and no budget will be sanctioned unless approved by the parliament. Fine, but the parliament rarely rejects the suggestions made by these committees. So these committees are having very much power. So these, as we know, whenever we will get the question that how they are, we can say that important or beneficial for the parliament. So we are having a very strong point here, like the committee system has reduced the burden on the parliament. So students, this was all about our chapter. You all are required to do the back exercise and revise the chapter level resources. You are required to do the back exercise in your notebook also. Fine. So thank you so much. Take care. Stay home. Stay blessed.